Gumby out there. And thank God I didn't get hurt, but I got hurt afterwards. I got hurt. I broke this leg. I don't know if I ever told you that I have 7 screws and 2 plates in this leg. And
Oh,
you
wow.
can just,
I hear that.
oh my God, you can see the, I'm not going to show you up close, but I have a long scar here and I've got plates and screws. And that was, a girl broke my leg in 3 places. And I tell you, I heard it like this. That's what I heard in my head. I'm like, ah!
No.
Yeah, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. So you know what? But you bounce right back. You know what I said? Oh, I'm never going to be wrestling again. No way. No way. You think I learned my lesson? As soon as I got out of the therapy that I had to go through, I was right back in the ring again. But this time I was more afraid. I'm like, I'm not wrestling her. I don't know her. I'm not going to wrestle that person. No, a live match. Things change so much, Vinny. Also, when you get into a live match, I've noticed that if you've got a person that you've talked over what you're going to do, when a live audience gets there, oh my gosh, everyone's ego is this high. And, we're all nervous when you first come out. As soon as they yell your name, I'm nervous. But as soon as I step in that ring, that stops. Because now I'm doing my job, and it's fun. So, yeah. Injuries. We went back to the mat. Yes, injuries. And it's fun, but you have to be careful. And hopefully the person you're wrestling is going to, watch for you as you're watching for them, helping.
Yeah, that's those are all scary scenarios that we hear about. I remember probably like early '90s, we had ECW, which was in basically my backyard. It was in South Philly, and
Cool.
ECW. And I remember going to a lot of those matches with my God rest his soul, or the person that introduced us, Billy. He would be
Oh, I know.
Billy highlight reel was. We went to grade school and high school together, but we would go to those matches together. And another person, unfortunately, he passed away too, Michael Verdi, who was known as Trent Acid. He was a wrestler too. Him and Billy became wrestlers, but we used to go and watch him as like, I don't know, we were just maybe a freshman in high school, but it was a great arena down in South Philly. And I seen all those guys like Sabu, and I remember, I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
but great wrestlers. But you saw it, and they were really crazy, like intense. That was when breaking chairs and tables, and they were
Yes.
over the top.
Yeah.
Just like blood.
Crazy. Trust me, now that you've mentioned all the different names from doing all these conventions that I do, I have met so many of those male wrestlers. And you know what? You never thought that they were watching you. They know exactly who you were. They watched it, and they may not have admitted it back then, but they were watching Glow and they know everything about us. And so, gosh, to meet these guys, they're so sweet and nice and respectable. And I ask them sometimes, I'll go, like a couple of weeks ago, I was in Illinois and it was Tugman, which is Fred Ottman. It was Coco Beware, who's just a sweetheart, the Godfather. We're all sitting there. And I looked at them, I go, do you guys hurt? Oh, does your neck, does your back? And a lot of them had surgeries. So that's another downfall. Your body will take a beating. It just does. Next week, I go to California. What am I doing? Wrestling. People ask me, Hollywood, how long are you going to keep wrestling? And you know what I tell them? Until my body says no, because when the body says no, when the body says, I can't get out of bed. Oh my God. You're either taking a leave and hope it goes away, but I'm doing it until my body says I don't want to, until they stop calling. That's a whole nother thing. When they don't call you anymore, take that as a hint that they probably, it's time to hang it up. I don't know.
Well, I have a feeling you're in demand, because I see
I just keep reinventing myself. I think that's what you do. That's the word. Keep reinventing yourself and keeping either Glow alive in any way that you can, even if you can't get in the ring. Because some of the ladies, all of them, cannot be in the ring except for myself and Lightning. We're the only two that could still do it. Lightning character I met in Glow. She's also a stunt woman, has done so many stunts. Being the height that I was telling you about, she can double children all the time. She just has to keep really lean. And she was a bodybuilder, so her arms were like getting too big. So she had to slim down and diet a certain way so she could get her gigs. I did that with her, and I should have continued to do that with her because the money that you make and the residuals, come on, we all know what Screen Actors Guild is and AFTRA and all of that, because, you know, the residuals that you get from that are great. And she turned me on to stunt work. And actually, talking about stunt work, Nicole Kidman, who lives here in Nashville, Tennessee, um, did a movie last year called Holland, Michigan. And one of the stunt coordinators got my name from Chavo Guerrero. Chavo is the nephew of Mondo. And Chavo gave him my name, and he was looking for some stunt drivers local to the area. My name came up, and I wasn't like Mario Andretti, that kind of a stunt driver. He needed more of a utility stunt driver, just someone who could drive these older cars, like station wagons of 1990, you know, in through the scene and just keeping everybody safe. So no lines in that movie, but I'm on a contract, and you know that contracts are over $1,000, and then you get residual. So I'm still waiting for that movie to come on. The scene is Nicole Kidman is dropping her kid off to school. Hollywood's behind her dropping off her kid to school. And then I got to tell you a funny story, because they gave me this piece of shit car, and the muffler was making a loud noise. And when they say action, there is no sound on that street at all. Only the dialogue between the actress and the actor. Here comes my car through the scene. I'm like, they're going to yell at me. I was just waiting for the director to go, cut! Somebody get that car out of the scene. I feel like an idiot because I'm the one driving it. And it was like every time I would try to give it gas.
Maybe they could do post-production about that.
I know, it's so funny. I think that would be perfect for. I love comedy in movies. You need to add that to your script sometime. You know, I know you love comedy too. So that kind of crowd is so fun.
That's great.
I'm already rewriting your script already.
Well,
I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be working on another one. I would love to. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying that. I would love to have you in something, because we finished the one screenplay that's out there. It's actually being viewed by a couple different people and studios and directors. So, but
that's awesome.
Something now. I gotta incorporate you if you're willing. So, but we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm willing. Oh my God, I think we'd laugh so hard.
Yeah, definitely.
See, now that I know you better, I'm not as intimidated. I feel like, yes, of course I can do this. Even though I was a bad guy, a heel, I still was a nice person. It's just the way you're brought up. You can't help it. You know how family is. We're so family oriented, you know, and you know right here, if this is telling you it's not right, it is 110% right. If you're just going, no, I can get around it, you're chancing it, man.
I remember, I do remember seeing something not too long ago where it was a match. I just seen a very quick little snippet of it, but it was a match between you and the farmer's daughter. Was it Sally?
Oh, yeah. Sally with the red top?
Yeah. And it's cute. She comes in, you know, and the crowd loves her, and there's like a boy that hugs her, and then you come from behind and like beat her up.
I don't even think we got into the ring.
No, I
think it was all on the outside. Yeah, I came in and surprise attacked her.
There's a cute little boy he looked like Ricky Schroeder from like Silver Spoon, ball haircut, and it was so 80s. It was cute.
Yeah, we had good times. You know what? All of us, all the ladies on that show, I probably saw 80 women go in and out through that show. We were young. We were on TV. We had nothing to complain about. Seriously, it was a good bunch of ladies that came in. We were lucky. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I also remember, obviously Jackie Stallone had a lot to do with that. Do you remember any good
details about her? So we used Jackie because of obviously her name, Stallone, and she was the Good Girls manager. So her and Aunt Kitty was our bad girl manager, and Aunt Kitty was also the aunt of our director. So he put her in, and she was the one walking me down the halls to set me up with David McLean at the end of the shows. She thought that if she could set me up with David, that she could control Glow. And that's why they had those sketches, for those who want to know what those sketches were about. I did Family Feud. I did 15 shows, and we had her on for 5 of them. You know, I always tell people, because some of the answers that we gave, I don't want people to think, oh my God, the Glow Girls are idiots or they're stupid. This is what my mentality has always been. I would hit that buzzer before I could process the whole thing in the and so the first thing that I would blurt out, would be probably not exactly. You got to process fast, man. But I knew if I just hit that button, at least I got a couple of seconds to process it before I get beeped.
You spoke about Nashville, so I want to bring up a little special guest here.
Oh,
I kept
that's soap. Look, this is the one I made yesterday.
beautiful. Now it wasn't easy for me to hold back because I put an order in a while ago with you, and it wasn't easy to hold back the soap, but I wanted to have at least something for when we talked. So there we go.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, that came about before the pandemic. Um, I just like products that aren't made with preservatives. There's no preservatives in this. I made this one yesterday too. This is tea tree oil, and this black part is activated charcoal. So both of these are really good for the skin, but then all I use is 4 ingredients: organic coconut oil, olive oil, sodium hydroxide, and distilled water. That's it. And then whatever essential oil I put in it, or fragrance oil. Um, I I love this. And when I first started, I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do it? And I'm like, yeah. So I got books and I looked at the YouTube videos and I went on and on and okay, let's try it. And you know what? They say that you are not a professional until you've got 2 years. I'm like, oh, after 1 year, oh, I am no, you are still learning. And I've had people, oh, anyone can make soap. No, I don't think anyone can make soap. I mean, maybe, but can you make it good? Let's just put it that way. Can you make the soap good? And I've got it down. Yesterday I did this one. This one, do you know? These are going to be exfoliating ones, and I started these for myself. There's a company. Is it Kyle's or Keels? You know what I'm talking about?
Heels.
Keels.
There's one here.
Yeah, Kiehl's. So for my boyfriend, before I started making soap, he would always get that mint. It's a gray color, and it has this little pumice, like a very fine powder that exfoliates the skin. Well, I got that, and I started putting that in these, and I love these because it's just in the palm of my hand. I go, everywhere. So I'm going to start selling these and see if they sell. But I like them because I like a little bit. It's almost like a washcloth.
Yeah.
So, do you know when you go somewhere, you're at a hotel or visiting someone at their house, and you need I need a washcloth. I don't want to use my hands. I'm wearing makeup. I need to take it off, or I've got suntan lotion on. I'm going to start taking these everywhere just in case, because this is the washcloth. There you go. But yeah, and so Nashville Botanika came about. It was Hollywood Botanika first because of my name, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, I live in Nashville. We'll call it both, Nashville Botanika with a K. Um, uh, I was very lucky to get my soap into the Nashville International Airport. They have a store there called Nashville Jam Session. My soap has been there over a year now. So that is a cool thing. If you guys are interested and you ever go through there, you can either get it there or go through me. Ask Vinny.
Yeah, I got some that fell off the truck. I got a whole thing of them.
There you go. You got a whole batch in there. Yeah, but that's just something that is just like a hobby for me. No, am I going to get rich? I'm not looking to get rich. I like to put me into it, meaning just if you love something that much, you make it so much better if you love doing what you do. Wrestling, I love doing what I do. So I love doing what I do, and I have to be in the mood for it. I think you and I might have talked about it. If I'm not in the mood, I don't make soap because I don't want it to turn out shitty. What if I do something wrong? So I make it as soon as I get off the road. My last thing I want to do is go out again outside. When I stay at home and I can make soap, that is something that is very calming for me. Some people like to read, some people like to bake or cook. Hollywood likes to make soap. So there you have it.
And the lesson, you have to find a hobby that's rewarding for you, and not
It
just
is
but just personally.
true.
I try. I don't have as many hobbies as I used to because just life's too busy anymore. But now
Yeah.
like a hobby now, social media. But
I know, right? Your wife and kids are probably like, get off the phone. Quit. I say that to Ryan all the time. I'm like, because he needs to be on it all the time as he's a guitar player, singer, and he's on here too. And I'm like, okay. And he does it to me. We're eating. I know. I go, but I just have to answer this. It's for this interview or it's for this. But sometimes you just gotta turn it off and put it away.
yeah, it's becoming like I think more of a crisis, and in some countries are talking about like in Europe. I think of the northern, maybe Finland. I forget which one was talking about like banning it up to it. Like you can't have it unless you're. I think there's a law saying you have to be at least 14 or older, and it has to be so many hours a day. I think we're advanced. Sometimes we're behind because a lot of the things they try out that fail, we learn from. So it's good to learn from each other. You know.
No, I agree on that because Europe will take those chances. I used to get, when I would go to London, I used to try to find these blue eye drops. This is before, I'm trying to think the one that I use. It's expensive as hell, but it's really good if you're doing a photo shoot. It'll keep the eyes clear for a very, very long time. Anyway, there were blue drops, and I used to get these blue drops because I think it was when I did Playboy for it was a pictorial that we did for women's wrestling while I was in Glow. But she had blue eye drops for my eyes. I go, what are those and where did you get those? She goes, it's not FDA approved here. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to I don't care. I like with these blue eye drops. I would, every time I went there, I would find these blue eye drops. And now we have the eye drops here. But yeah, they all have different, thank goodness for Europe is what I'm saying.
Well, you talk about Europe too, and we talk about soap. It reminds me when you were talking about. I remember being when I started going to Italy in 2000. My parents moved back there, and I would go to Calabria, and I would still see big blocks of soap,
Oh,
and
yeah.
people would make them. And we talk about like cauldrons, but that's what they had. They had these big
Bricks.
these big metal kettles, and they would boil everything down and they would make it homemade, and then they would actually use, like, ironically enough, they would put bergamot in there because bergamot in Calabria is like that's where the world's best, for whatever reason, bergamot, which is a citrus fruit. That's where.
Yes, I was just going to say for people who don't know, it's a citrusy oil. Yeah.
And I told you this, it's I don't know where it's indigenous to, but I know in that part of the world it grows perfectly because in Calabria the climate is like almost tropical, and so anything can grow there. You plant it, it'll grow, and it had a big industry in the 1800s, perfume.
Yes. See, I
perfume
love that. I love anything about history. You start talking like that, I'm just like, who, what, where, how? Tell me more. I love
but
that.
but it relates to you because you use bergamot in your soap, and it's
I
ironic.
do. I did it with vetiver, and I like vetiver. It's a great unisex scent, and vetiver and a little bit of bergamot mixed together. Ooh, that smells so good. Yeah.
It's really good for you too. It's also very big, like digestive. Like it actually kills cholesterol. It's amazing. It's amazing. It has a lot
Yes.
of uses.
Yeah, and so yeah, there are, and I truly believe in that. I don't know. Do you watch any Netflix at all? I know I'm going off subject, but do you watch any Netflix shows? Have you
I do.
ever seen Outlander?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen that.
I hadn't either, and someone told me, "Oh, the star is hot." So I thought, well, let me just look and see if he's hot. Yes, he's good looking, but not really my cup of tea. But anyway, this woman from 1945 touches a stone, and she's uh, goes back to the 1700s, exactly 200 years. She was a nurse in the war, and now she's using all of the essential oils and spices and flowers to make these concoctions and teas. And so there you have it, all of that stuff. That's what they had to use.
You guys have been watching myself and Hollywood, Jeanne Basone. What a pleasure it was interviewing my friend Jeanne. And I really encourage you to please make sure you follow her on Instagram and Facebook and buy that soap. It's under Hollywood Botanica as well as Nashville Botanica. I have it, use it myself. I never smelled better, I'll be honest with you. Again, check out and follow Jeanne Basone and make sure that you're subscribed to Vinny Presents. I'll see you next time.